first part of this question is how do you curb a sweet tooth craving, which I know you talk about in your guide. And then I'd love to get your advice on how you might overcome a slip up or, you just kind of I don't know how we want to I don't know what to call it without, I'm just going to call it an indulgence. You kind of, fall off the wagon, so to speak, for a while. How do you get back on it?
Okay, so first let's talk about a sweet tooth. So a lot of people have a sweet tooth. I have a sweet tooth. And some people have a bigger issue. Some people have disordered eating and can benefit from working with a psychotherapist. So I can't speak to everybody's problems, but if it's big enough that you need a psychotherapist, then it's important enough that you should seek that out. But if it's regular difficulty with cravings, I think it always comes down to giving yourself permission. As soon as you give yourself permission to eat something and sit down and then love the freaking heck out of it and say to yourself, that was so good and I can have it again tomorrow, then there's nothing to crave because it's yours again in another few hours. I think it makes a remarkable difference. So
Give yourself permission.
give yourself permission. It's fine.
And
So
you advocate, you're saying give yourself permission, like you mentioned, to go to Baskin and Robbins versus give yourself permission to take the idea of having Baskin and Robbins and now having like light whipped cream with some sugar substitute or some kind of hodgepodge version of a light or sugar-free version of the actual craving.
so
You know
sometimes,
how people do that,
yeah,
right?
right. Sometimes a substitute works, but often it doesn't. Often it just leaves you wanting. So you had something that's not very nutritious and high in carbohydrate and high in calories and didn't serve your needs. And then you still end up having that delicious peanut butter or chocolate ice cream at Baskin and Robbins. So for me, I don't get a triple scoop anymore. It's been a few decades since I've gotten a triple scoop. But if I go to Baskin and Robbins and am very, very content with this, I order a child's cup. And if I didn't order a child's cup, I'd still order a single. But so I might do that. But getting a child's cup just leaves me that room to just to know that I can do it again tomorrow.
All right, so now let's go to the second part. So, I wanted the chocolate cake, but I thought I could have the apple. And like you just said, I had the apple, and now I had the chocolate cake, and now I'm going in the refrigerator and just starting my way through everything. How the next morning, I know a lot of people could identify with this. You wake up and you're just so unhappy with yourself, so depressed about and disappointed that you kind of fell off the wagon, so to speak. How can you minimize that? How can you kind of what can I do to trigger myself back to get back on solid ground again when it comes to wanting to manage my weight or staying on my meal plan?
I think the first thing is being kind to yourself. And I say that a lot because it plays so much with how we eat and how we take care of ourselves. So if we can just acknowledge, I made a mistake and I want to do better today, that's a lot more forgiving than I was a pig yesterday. I'm never going to lose weight. I'm never going to get this under control. But let me tell you something. I'm a pig and I'm never going to get this under control and I'm never going to lose weight. Those aren't even facts. What are the facts? So that's what I would ask you to do is identify what are the facts and say them to yourself in a way that you would say them to your sister, brother, mother, friend, cousin, neighbor. Because you're not going to turn to your mother or your sibling and say, you're a fat pig and you're never going to lose weight and you're disgusting. You're going to say, you know what? I don't know of a single person who hasn't eaten more than what they meant to eat. And it didn't serve you very well, did it? Let's do something differently today.
And like you just said, a lot of people slip up and they manage to still, like you said, manage their weight. They have a slip up, but it doesn't escalate into a 5 or 15 pound or 50 pound weight gain. It just, they somehow are able to manage it by just what you're saying, acknowledging it and just moving past it and not thinking they're a failure or they're the only one doing that. I appreciate that advice because I
Yeah,
think
it's
so
it's
many of us
more
feel
about your mindset than it is your diet. Because if you get the mind in the right place, the diet comes too.